Buenas noches, good evening. So this video today we're going to look quickly at another problem that came up during one of my classes this week, which was how to give your name and numbers when you're either leaving telephone messages or perhaps booking appointments. So this is a problem obviously because on the telephone we can't see the other person and you can't write down the information for them, so you're relying totally on what they can hear. And one of the main problems we have in English, unfortunately, is some of our numbers sound very similar. So for instance, all of the numbers in the sequence 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 sound very similar to the number like 1330, 1440, 1550, 1660, 1770, 1880, 1990. Now this is a big problem obviously, because if you get the numbers confused, it's going to cause a lot of difficulty, either for people not being able to phone you back or maybe going to the wrong address. So we need to be very mindful of how we're going to communicate that if we're dealing particularly with these type of numbers. So I'm going to show you a technique to hopefully get around that. Now the other problem, particularly since I imagine most of you are from what is now my part of the world, Colombia, or at least Latin America, let's say, your names, particularly your family names, are going to be more like this one, Garcia Marquez, as opposed to the names that are more common in some of the English-speaking countries, like North America, England, or Canada, perhaps. So it's quite possible that the people who are hearing you give your name might not really know how to spell it properly. So again, now we have another problem, because you need to spell a word that for the listener is unfamiliar. So, ways to get around that. We can use what's called the phonetic alphabet, which you might have heard of. It's one that's in common usage if you're, for instance, an airline pilot, or perhaps you work in the police, something like that. Again, to make it very clear when they're giving radio messages what word they're using when they need to spell out letters. So this is one like A is Alpha, B is Bravo, C is Charlie, O is Oscar, etc. So in our example here, for instance, if we're going to spell out some name like Garcia, then we would have G for Golf, A for Alpha, R for Romeo, C for Charlie, I for India, A for Alpha. And you can see a full list of the phonetic alphabet. You can look this up very easily online to give you some idea of that. So it might be worth considering, even if you don't remember the whole phonetic alphabet, but at least how to spell your name using it. This will make it much clearer if you have to leave a message on the telephone. Now, going back to the problem with numbers, if we have to give perhaps the number of our house or also our phone number, again we have this problem with how people will hear the number rather than what the number really is. So let's give this example. If I say I live at flat 17, 40 Station Road. Now, if I don't hear that clearly, 17, or was it 17 or 70? What did I really hear? And 40, 14, 40 is very similar. So the trick with this, if you have to give particularly numbers, give them as digits. So I would say it as it is, so flat 17, 1, 7. Number 40, 40 Station Road. Yeah? So by all means say it as the normal number, but then repeat it straight after as digits. This way the listener will easily understand what you really meant to say. Yeah. So I would say this as flat 17 17 40 40 Station Road. Much clearer, yeah? And again, when we give telephone numbers, now I know commonly, particularly in Spain or other parts of Europe, we tend to give the numbers as groups. We would say this is like 35, 72, 21, 489. Again, in England it's easier just to give these as digits, because this stops us falling into this problem of confusion over the numbers. And maybe I would group this one as groups of 3 digits together. Yeah. So I would say this number is 357 221 489. 357 221 489. So I hope that will give you something to work on, perhaps make the next time you need to leave these kind of details, if you're making an appointment, or worse still, if you get an answer phone. At least you can leave the number very clearly. And remember, if you're giving an answer phone message, super important, say the number near the beginning of your message before the machine cuts you off. So if you have to give this as an answer phone message, like who you are and what you're hoping the person will ring you back, I would say something, okay, this is Mr. Garcia Marquez. My number is 357 221 489. I'm ringing because I want to make an appointment. So it's quite quick, but the key thing is you've said who you are, and most importantly, the second thing you should certainly give is the telephone number, so they're easily able to contact you. Okay, well, I hope this one was useful. Let me know in the comments if you've got any other questions on that. But remember, give it a practice before you actually have to pick up the phone and leave your message. See you next time. Cheerio.